Thank you for joining me today on Good News with Twanda Black, where we're discovering some of the most inspiring trials to triumph stories and empowerment moments. Call up a friend and let them know it's time for some good news.
Welcome to Good News with Twanda Black. I am your host, and we talk with folks from all walks of life about their good news, because ultimately, if your brothers and sisters are doing well, we are doing fantastic. Sit back, relax, and enjoy my next guest. All right, Miss Vanessa Battle joins us today, a seasoned professional with over 15 years of experience in complex business solutions, providing versatile administrative and legal support as a certified paralegal. But she's an educator. She's a licensed and ordained minister. She's passionate about serving others as her role as a certified Christian counselor. And she does so many other things. We're going to talk about it all. How are you today, Vanessa?
Hey, I am wonderful today. Today is a beautiful day. We had great weather, although I'm cooped up in the house, but it was good weather.
Every day we get up and breathe is a good day, honey.
Yes, it is. Yes, Jesus. Yes.
So look, tell our audience a little bit about you. I mean, I think that you're probably really well known in the city, but some people might not know who Vanessa is. So tell us about Vanessa. What's your background? Were you raised in Atlanta?
Okay, so I guess that is a great place to start, because so many people don't know that I'm not actually from Atlanta. I mean, I've been here since about I was 3. And
girl, you're a peach, girl. Stop.
Right, I'm just saying, of course I'm a peach now, but I'm just saying it's amazing to me. Like, whenever I have trivia events, that's one of the questions that I always put on there, because people don't know. So yes, as you said, I really am a Georgia peach. My mom was born and raised in Texas. My dad is actually from Georgia. He was from LaGrange, and my dad was in the military. So that's how he ended up in Texas at Fort Hood. And so he met my mom, and then he wanted to come back home to Georgia. And so my mom, being adventurous, didn't know anybody here, but he decided to come on to Georgia. And I think that every day me and my siblings are grateful for the life that we've had here in Georgia. I am the youngest of 7 by my mom. I'm the youngest of 3 by my dad. So I think sometimes that explains my personality. Because I'm the baby of the bunch on both sides, and I get spoiled on both sides. So
all right now. All right. Tell us about your career. You've done quite a few things, and very well connected, I must say. So tell us a little bit about your career, what you've been doing.
Okay, let's see. Well, I can't be on this show, though, Twanda, and not mention that I am a graduate of C.L. Harper High. You know, my Harper High Trojans, we love our roots.
Yes, ma'am.
And we are like one big family. You know, we still hang out and enjoy each other. But just kind of getting to my career, I've been a corporate girl for about 27 years. Worked in the field of law for 15. Started off in management with Equifax, so I worked with them for about 12 years, and then I decided to get my paralegal certification. And so once I got my paralegal certification, I left Equifax, and I went into, as I said, the field of law. I was one of the first Black legal managers at the law firm that I worked at that time, which was Ross Gelfand out in Alpharetta. They also had their first Black VP, and so she was the one that brought me in and felt like it was time for them to bring some diversity to that office. So I stayed there for over 10 years, and then I branched out and started my own business, which is Creative Minds. And Creative Minds is a property management company. So under that umbrella, we did property management, we did credit restoration, and then I was also an independent paralegal. So I traveled and did real estate closings.
Wow.
Once the pandemic came, I guess I just kind of didn't know how to rebrand myself with everybody going online. I mean, that was just, I didn't quite grasp that. So one of my friends that was on the school board in Clayton County, she encouraged me to come and do some substitute teaching for them. Didn't know at that time that it was really a setup, because at the time I also was attending law school. So I did 1 year law school over at John Marshall Law School. However, the way that law school is set up, technically you're not supposed to work your first year. So in my opinion, law school is for the young people that's leaving, that's leaving undergrad and moving on into grad. So it was a little challenge for me. However, I don't think that's the end of the chapter, because I'm in school now getting my master's of teaching with a concentration in special education. So my goal is at this time also, I'm running for school board, District 8 for Clayton County as well. So once I get on the school board, I think that will allow me the flexibility to be able to go back to law school. And then I do want to switch my law over though to education law.
All right. And we definitely need that. So talk about your passion for education. Ever since I've known you, you've had something to do with children. So talk about your love for children and your love for education.
Well, I guess my love for children probably started when I was 12 years old. As I said, I'm the youngest of 7. So my oldest brother, I think it's about 13 years difference in he and I. So I was probably about 10 years old when my siblings began to have kids. And so for my nieces and nephews that's on the older spectrum, we grew up together. And so oftentimes I had to babysit them. And so that's kind of where the love came, because I guess I was just a natural with these kids, and they love me. Even now they think I'm the cool auntie, you know. And so and then even in ministry, I started off in the youth department. When I was over at Green Pastures, I was the assistant to the youth pastor there. So as I said, I've just always been around kids, just always. And then I have a niece who my mom and I raised, and then she finally came with me full time. So because I only had one biological son, and then even with my stepdaughter at the time that I was married, my stepdaughter lived with us for about 5 or 6 years. So I have always been around kids. And I think sometimes, Twanda, that's why I only have one, because in hindsight, I have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
You know, and our house was always the hangout, even before I started having kids. My nieces and nephews, you know, I would go to a family function, and the next thing I know, my car is full with kids, and everybody coming home to Auntie B's house to hang out. And so I've just had a need for kids. And I think also with my mom, because we have about 26 grandkids, and about 19 of them are males. And so we've had to raise maybe about 60% of our grandkids. And so, you know, I saw it in my mom. Her home was always open when we were growing up. Our friends, if they had problems at home, they could always come and stay a couple of days at our house and figure it out. So it's just in my blood, I would say. It's just in my blood.
Yeah. So when we talk about the education piece of loving kids, though, as an educator, what do you see as some of the main issues that you would be in your heart to work on the school board?
So the thing that keeps me up at night, and this is the thing that I say to my principal all the time at the staff meetings, and I don't like to say that students can't read, but we have a deficit with these students who can't read, and especially since we came back from the pandemic. You know, but we had a lot of kids who were pandemic kids, so they didn't get online. And during that time, for like I teach 3rd grade, and I just like I said, converted over to special education. So currently I'm in a co-taught situation, because as I'm getting my master's, I'm actually doing my student teaching as well. So what I would say is that those 3rd graders, they were probably like kindergarten during the pandemic.
Or three and four.
Exactly, right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they missed their window of opportunity in terms of phonics, in terms of our basic sounds, vowels. Because in my opinion, when the school system came back from the pandemic, in my opinion, we should have paused and gone back and let's reteach all of this stuff that these kids were supposed to get online. Because we all know, and even people that are not educators, and I was not an educator at that time, I came into education right when we came back from the pandemic. And so we all know that these kids were not getting online. And the ones that were, they were probably sleeping, they were not paying attention. Because we got to think about too, kids went through a traumatic time during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And even when you look at what statistics say, and I know sometimes the statistics can't tell us about our own people, but this is something that I agree with them about, is that children are relational. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you separate those kids and they are away from their friends, then that does cause them to have an emotional issue. And that's part of that social emotional learning that we talk about in school, because these kids have gone through a traumatic social emotional season in their life during the time of the pandemic. So another piece to that too is a lot of kids didn't even get to eat during that time because they only get a meal at school. And I was like, what's going to happen to those children? Well, that's what I'm saying. So we had so many moving parts. So that's part of what I'm talking about in terms of why we should have paused. We should not have come back into the school building and just went teaching our school, our business as usual. Mm-hmm. We should have stopped. Mm-hmm. Because now, before the pandemic, we probably had, maybe third graders reading on a first grade level or even a second grade. Because before the pandemic also, Georgia was ranked higher in education than where we are now. We've fallen about 5 slots in terms of national. And so that's why I would say is that we should have paused. And we should have gone back and retaught these things to make sure that these kids got what they need. Because again, in my opinion, we're doing a disservice to these kids. Because there is a teacher shortage, we're passing kids who can't read or who struggle to read. Mm-hmm. And then when we think about society, that is why we have so much crime. We couldn't imagine at 12 and 13 years old being outside of the home at 10 and 11 o'clock at night. We could not have imagined that. But one of the things that we have to think about is that not only are we dealing with children who are not educated, we're dealing with parents who have had these kids young.
Yes.
And I know, that people often say to me, my friends, sometimes people call me the Battle, but they often say, hey, the system can't fix it all. No, I don't expect for the system to fix it all. However, we live in a democracy and we live in a country where we pay taxes. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes when we're always talking about what the system does for us, technically the system doesn't do that for us. These are our taxes that we pay as working people. And so that's why sometimes we do need the government to come and partner with us. Yes, there is a certain part that we have to do, but then because we pay taxes into everything in this country, we pay state taxes, we pay federal taxes, we pay local taxes, we pay property taxes.
Yep.
So we're paying into a broken system. And that's why I feel like when I think about also a lot of these boards that govern education, when I was over at the Carter Center, I've been over there twice on 2 different forums. And again, I don't want somebody to take this the wrong way, but they had a lot of people that did not look like me. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of people that were not even in education. And these are the people that are making decisions for us as educators and for our students. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's the right road that we should be going down, because half of these people who are business people and the people that don't look like us, you know, for instance, there was a gentleman on there and he was a superintendent of one of the rural counties. He had 25,000 students in his whole district. Twanda, that in the county that I teach in DeKalb, that's just high school numbers or maybe middle school numbers.
Right.
And these are the people that our state tend to listen to. So here again, it's just not a system that has been proportionate in favor of us.
So it feels like it's more theoretical for them rather than application, rather than experience. So when you talk about theoretical, you're not going to get all the moving parts that go along with this thing. So as an educator and running for the school board, how would you fix this? Because we do have some kids that fell between the gaps and they just got pushed on. And now we've got 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders that can't read. We're having some issues.
The key thing, that is the basis or the origin also of our kids that's out there committing crimes. It is right there where you said, within that age group. And so therefore I can't come to my people and say that I can do this alone. So part of what I would like to see happen is I need for my parents to come back into the school systems and get involved, because that's another issue is that you have educators oftentimes and we're sounding the alarm, we're screaming to the top of our lungs for someone to hear us, but then the parents are not involved. And it's going to take a whole village. We have got to get back to the village model. Because no, Miss Battle can't do it by herself. However, Miss Battle can get on this board and assess these issues, and then I can plead or come up with a substantial plan as to how to bring my parents back and come along beside me, and even some of my educators, because I guess with me not having an education background, my degree is political science with a minor in legal studies. So what I find oftentimes too is that teachers are afraid to really come out and contact their school board members because they are afraid of losing their jobs or retaliation. And see, that's a whole nother issue in itself as well, because our powers that be, our boards, our state people, our Department of Education, we should not have our teachers feeling as though it is a crime to come and voice their opinion. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones that's behind those school walls that are dealing with these kids each and every day.
And dealing with the parents. And I think another issue, because when I got unemployed some years ago, and everybody was saying you need to teach, because I'm a natural teacher, I am. However, I felt like the rights of the teachers was taken away. Like if a student hit a teacher and the teacher was like, they react or whatever, they get fired. And and so I feel like teachers don't really have rights anymore. And I just said, I can't be in a place where I can't even defend myself,
Yes.
And I'm going to be afraid for my job, or I can't speak up. And I have a lot of friends who are educators, and I pray for them, because I don't know how y'all do it. I just don't.
Well, you are correct. And again, I think that's why I was talking about my background, because I'm very vocal in my school. I'm very vocal in my neighborhood. As a matter of fact, my first year over in DeKalb, I had a new principal. The principal that hired me only worked with me for 2 weeks, and then he was promoted to a whole new position in the city of Atlanta. And so it was a whole challenge for me, because for one, I had come from Clayton County, where we did have some strict policies in place to deal with students with behavior issues. And then I come to a county where it appears to me that we just want to baby these kids. You want to, they need a time out. I probably shouldn't even say this, but when if Jesus named you black kids.
Need to time out, right? Oh yeah.
And oh my God, I could not get with that. I mean, I know that when school first started, I was called in the principal's office at least 5 times. Parents just calling the school. Parents. And I'm just like, okay, so yeah, little Johnny did this and Miss Battle did that. So I'm not understanding where is the breakdown of communication.
Right.
And see, that is the problem also. Parents are silent until an educator or someone pop off on little Johnny.
Yeah.
You get in little Johnny's face and you let little Johnny know what's really going on. And then next thing you know, little Johnny goes home and tells mom. But the whole time little Johnny's struggling to read, and I'm sending mom emails and I'm making phone calls and I'm using my personal phone to text you. I can't hear from you. But as soon as I have to take little Johnny outside the door and have a conversation with him, now everybody in the house want to wake up. Mom and them
they're coming with guns blazing in. Yes, child. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I say also we have got to do a better job of seeing what we can do to get parents involved, because of course we can't make them. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like because I know there have been times when I've spoken with parents and they say, well, I've called the school 3 or 4 times to get to schedule a meeting with so and so and so and so, and they won't return my call. So see, that is an issue, and in the parents' defense, that happens. We can sit behind the school and say, oh no, that happens. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm saying that we have to make the parents feel also inclusive. Right. We have to make them feel that we want them to come into these schools. We want them to volunteer. Now, don't get me wrong. We got the cray parents who come up there and pop off. Of course, we don't want you to come and cut up. However, let's try to figure out, though, how to get that particular parent who we know is going to come up there and raise sand all the time. Let's find a way to massage that parent and get them on our team as well. Right.
Because it's like you said, it's a village mentality that we need to go back to. Where in the old days, anybody could chastise you, say something to you, and it was okay. It was respectable. Now, shoot, you might get cussed out.
Honey, cussed out.
Right. Anything. If fight, hit. This little boy told my brother, who is in the school system, told him that he was going to kill him. He said, "I'm going to take my gun and shoot you." Mm-hmm. So you get all of that. You get all of that. It's scary. But good part is that there are people like you out there who really care about these children and care about bringing a collaborative effort for the community to make it better, because you got to think, this pipeline, these are jobs, these are our leaders, these are, you got to think about all of that. Who's going to be there for us if we're not helping our babies along? So talk about the election. When is the election coming up?
Okay, so our election is May 19th. Yes, May 19th, 2026. That is a big Super Bowl day. Well, that's the playoff.
The Super Bowl of elections.
Well, let's say that it's the playoffs, because November would be the Super Bowl.
Okay, all right.
But it is still a fascinating time to be involved, and I believe that especially since we're in the season of Purim, and for those who understand Purim, that's pretty much the story of Esther, and the word says that for such a time as this. So I just believe, that God is calling his people for such a time as this, because a lot of people don't understand really how the Bible goes, because we've been so brainwashed by the people to say that church and state, they can't connect. Well, I don't see it that way. Because even the scripture in the Bible that talks about in Isaiah that the government is upon his shoulder, Jesus had a government.
That's right.
And that was part of, if you understand why he was persecuted, that's part of why. Because The other side did not want to. Right,
exactly. It was the same ego stuff that's happening today.
That's happening today. Thank you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So you have some events coming up, or one in particular that's coming up, and I want people to know where they can find you, where you're going to be. But you have an event coming up.
Yes, I am so excited because for those of you that may be listening, a lot of people didn't know that I started off this race back in September running for commissioner. And I had to go back and reassess because that was not what God told me to do from the beginning. The main reason that I left Clayton County Schools and went to DeKalb is because I knew back then I was going to run for school board. But then I just kind of got caught up in other things that was happening in my community. And instead of me just, reaching out and saying, hey, let me do my part, then I just felt like I was the all to fix all of it. And so God had to bring me on back home and sit me down and say, little girl, get your life right.
Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yes, it is. So we had to pivot and get back on the school board trail. But anyway, guys, I said all that to say, because in my opinion, which is not really, but I just feel like I was behind the 8 ball. But qualifying is not until May 3rd through the 6th. So I will be launching my new campaign kickoff for school board on March the 5th. And it will be a good old fun time karaoke. So if you are out there and you are listening, you can find me at Battle.mp4 schoolboard.com. And it's all very simple. Battle, my last name, 4 schoolboard.com. My email is the same, battle for schoolboard at gmail.com. So if you're interested, we would love to see you on March the 5th, where we will be kicking off our karaoke night. Come prepared to sing your karaoke because we're going to have some fun, and I think that's another thing about what we do in our communities. Everything is so much going on that we become so uptight about everything. And we have to remember that even the word says that the joy of our Lord is our strength. Jesus was a joyful person, although he was a seasonal person, because don't get it twisted now, he would get out there and handle business, which is what I do as well. But for everybody that know me, they know I'm the life of the party. In my opinion, a lot of places I go, the party don't start till I get there and start cutting up. So we want this to be about fun, and it's even on Dr. King Day, I called my opponent to let her know that I was going to be running, because I have respect for her, because she is a person that appointed me to the Clayton County School Board Advisory. So I don't want this to be a situation where things get out of hand, we're doing dirty things. No, because at the end of the day, what I have to promise you all, and those of you that are tuned in, you are my witness and you will hold me accountable. But win, lose, or draw, I will be back in the Clayton County school system doing what I do, because I have been away tending to other things. But it is now time for me to get back and work with my children, because the first class that I taught are now 9th graders over at Mara High School.
Wow.
And they still call me and I still call them. I've held about 3 drone camps. The kids have always come out. The parents have supported me. So, like as I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whose name is going to be on that seat. We all must come together collectively and work, because, again, it's not about me. It's about these children. It's about their future.
That's right. Where's your event going to be held?
Okay, so it's going to be held over at Crown Pizza in Stockbridge, Georgia.
Right. All right. And you can go on the website and get that information, correct?
Yes, you can go on the website and get that information. That's why I gave you the website and I gave you my email. Once again, it's battleforschoolboard.com. So you can go on there. My second event will be March the 12th. And that is scheduled to be over at Gospel Tabernacle over on, New Testament on Fielder Road. And that is going to be a listening party.
All right.
So I will be all of my people from the school that's in my school board district. I want the parents, I want the students, I want teachers. If you play any role in any of the schools that's in District 8 in Clayton County, I want you to come out, because that is a time when we will sit down intimately and I will hear from you, and I want to know, what change would you like to see?
Tell us what District 8 is. What does that include?
Okay, so District 8 includes the areas of Ellenwood, part of Rex and part of Morrow. So it would be schools like Morrow High School, Forest Park High School, Morrow Middle, Rex Middle, Adamson Middle. So those are the schools that's in District 8, with a couple of more, but I'm just giving you an idea of where that area, what that covers. Yes.
All right, now we are excited about you running for the school board, District 8, and your event coming up. Again, you can go to battle.mp4.com for more information, and that's the number 4. All right, and Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us. God bless you, and we will be praying as you take on this new journey.
Thank you so much for having me, Twanda. I do appreciate you for being so involved in the community as well.
Amen. Thank you. Thanks so much for joining me for Good News. If you'd like to be a guest, you can reach out to me at goodnews@the PG Network. And you can catch Good News on pgntv.org. Hey, I'll join you next week for another episode of Good News. I'm Twanda Black. God bless.